A while ago on both my YouTube and Twitter pages, I asked you guys what the most overrated Sonic games are. And you guys, well, I got what I asked for. I'm gonna be going through most of your responses to find out if I really do agree with what is or isn't the most overrated Sonic game. Some of you people, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think half of you know what overrated means, but we're gonna be going through it regardless. If this video does well enough, we'll talk about the most underrated Sonic games as well, so keep an eye on my Twitter or my YouTube page if you are interested. But without further ado, my name is Dylonic, and let's dive right in. Unleashed is my favorite Sonic game, but it's like a 6 out of 10. A lot of people love it, but they feel like they have to make excuses for the game being better than it actually is, instead of accepting that it's not perfect. Sonic Unleashed was mentioned quite a few times from different users, and it's got me scratching my head a little bit. Like, did we play the same game? I mean, I'm definitely not surprised at the fact that somebody's calling it overrated considering how much Unleashed glaze has appeared in the past like 5-6 years or so. But I honestly wouldn't consider it as such. Like, especially in the tweet, I don't know what the user is trying to say here about how Unleashed fans need to make excuses for the game being better than it is, because I don't really see that happening a lot. Like, yeah, I totally agree that Unleashed isn't perfect, but I would be lying if I saw a bunch of people trying to make excuses for why this game is peak. The only reason as to why I might be able to see this kind of reasoning is if you see a bunch of people glazing the werehog. The werehog is definitely the thing that turns most people off about this game, considering most of its playtime revolves around the werehog. And the most that I can say about that is that the werehog is quite an acquired taste, pretty much because I actually really like the werehog. It's not the most in-depth combat you'll ever find, but honestly, I have a lot of fun trying to speedrun the levels. I think the platforming is very fun, the amount of combos and skips that you can do at the same time. But like I said, it's an acquired taste. It's not for everyone, and I don't blame anyone for not liking it or definitely preferring the day stages. Hell, even I still prefer the day stages. And even then, the werehog has its fair share of issues, far more issues than I see in the day stages. I actually agreed with this user on Twitter, Amelia Rose 2002, that the camera is extremely buggy, and the fact that there's no drop shadow for the werehog, it's caused me way more pain than it should have. Although I don't think most QuickTime events are incredibly difficult unless you're playing the DLC stages. I mean, the point of those levels is to be a lot harder than the main game, but then again, it could just be a me thing. I honestly think Unleashed is pretty appropriately rated. Before Frontiers, Unleashed was really the last time we saw any ambition and change in the Sonic franchise that actually benefited Sonic as a whole, and although it took a while to actually get people to like this game, I think it's really, really good. Sonic Superstars, on the other hand, Matt, I love you, I'll continue to draw your thumbnails all you like, you're my day one, but I don't think you know what overrated means. Let's see the reasoning, shall we? Boss fights ruin it. Biggest issue. Trip story is ass, and it being mandatory for Supersonic ending is also ass. Supersonic Final Battle sucked. I don't know if I can repeat that actually. Soundtrack is sometimes peak and is sometimes ass. Story makes 0 sense. Overall, 6 out of 10 at best. Low-key, a 5 out of 10. Oh fuck, I hate being sick. The points you made, I somewhat agree with. How that relates to the game being overrated, I have no clue. I received a lot of comments like this where it's like, hey, this is a game I don't like, therefore it's overrated. It's kind of under the same sense of like, hey, I don't like this game, therefore it's bad. Because the thing with Sonic Superstars is that I have never seen anybody glaze up that game. I know Superstars has its fans out there. I think the game has a lot of great moments. Hell, I even like the final boss. But when it comes to the general consensus within the community on this game, I definitely don't think it's overrated. Not because I personally think it's a great game. Hell, I also think it's like a 6.5 out of 10, but I'm saying it's not overrated because so many people are mixed on the game. Maybe people don't hate this game enough. I'm not sure. It's not really a super offensive game by any means. It's just, man, it's just all over the place. Here's one that I was genuinely surprised by, Sonic Colors. This is definitely the game that was spoken about the most under my YouTube post, which is very interesting to me. Do I agree with it? No. I personally love Sonic Colors, but I do know the 2 reasons why people would think that. Starting off with the first reason, this game pushed Sonic in a brand new direction that people really didn't like moving forward. When it came out, people loved it. It was a tight, focused platformer that had unique power-ups. Critics thought it was a great return to form for Sonic as, you know, it pushed out all the ambition, pushed out all the story, it was just Sonic and Tails going through an amusement park, taking down Eggman like the good old days, the 90s, yippee! And also, the game features a lot of 2D and reused sections. But as time went on and people started to, grow up, a lot of fans realized that they didn't like the direction that Sonic was going in, and Colors was really the start of all of that. People didn't like the comedic tone of the story. The wisps were incredibly overused and weren't used to great effect like they were in Colors. And for reason number 2, Colors Ultimate came out and really just put a massive stain on that game's legacy. I still really like Sonic Colors, and I love the ranking system in that game specifically, but oh my god, Colors Ultimate just had to be one of the worst remasters of all time. I actually skipped school early to play this game, and yeah, I still liked it. It was still Sonic Colors, but it was one of the most buggy, seizure-inducing experiences of all time. And obviously that's going to turn a lot of people away from the game in general, considering that this is the version you can play. The only other way that you can play Colors is on the original Wii or through emulators or stuff like that, which not a lot of people have great access to. If you want to play it on modern consoles, you gotta play one of the worst fucking games of all time. It genuinely ruined the way people saw that game forever, and I can't blame them. It's so bad. It's so bad. But I think if you look past the remaster in general, I still think it's a great game. I don't think it's overrated, mostly because so many people just don't talk about Colors anymore, so it's kind of hard to get a read of what the overall consensus is from the community. But honestly, a lot of people are talking about it, so I'm starting to think that a lot of people think it's overrated. Sonic Heroes.
Shut the f up. Do you just talk all the time, even when people ask you not to? Jesus.
No, gonna go on a little bit of a rant here, but I have no idea what circle of hell you came from to consider Heroes overrated. In fact, I think it's one of the most underrated Sonic games of all, like top 3 at least. Sonic Heroes was my first video game ever, right? So obviously, I guess I'm gonna have a natural bias towards it. But you know what? I went back and replayed the game a little bit earlier this year, and I still loved it just as much as I did when I was a kid. So it sucks so much to be someone like me, alone in a vast sea of Unleashed glazers. Honestly, I'd agree that Unleashed is overrated just for the sake that I was surrounded by them all my life, and all of those people just so happen to fucking hate Sonic Heroes. I get it, I guess. I don't know. You gotta play the game 4 times to get to the last story, and even then the story isn't that engaging. The controls are slippery, they're not for everyone, even though you can turn into Tails or Knuckles and, circumvent the slipperiness. All I'm gonna say is that I think you're crazy for thinking that the game is overrated when I've been surrounded by people who just fucking hate the game all my life. Maybe you misread the post and you thought it said overhated, and in that sense, I'd totally agree. I think Sonic Heroes is an overhated game. So you know what? That's the story I'm gonna go with. Sonic Adventure 1 for sure. It has the issue of trying to make a small batch of levels fit multiple playstyles and fails that in a lot of ways, especially when the characters are as overpowered as they are. Yeah, I kind of agree. Out of all of the games on this list, I kind of agree that Adventure 1 is definitely the most overrated. It's definitely the game that feels the most bloated out of any on this list, and its reuse of level design for each character's kind of just doesn't lend itself well to the game as a whole. Sonic Story is really fun to play through. I don't have a lot of issues with Sonic Story. Everyone else, on the other hand, Sonic Adventure 2 definitely made the right move, narrowing it down to only the speed, mech, and treasure hunting stages, as those were definitely the most fun to come out of Sonic Adventure 1, while also lending themselves to different unique playstyles for other characters. Tails is just a watered down Sonic. Every other story that isn't Sonic's in Adventure 1 feels heavily watered down. Like they barely even get started before they can get good, and it doesn't help that the back half of characters only have like a 30-minute long campaign, while Sonic himself has like a 2-hour long campaign. Amy sucks, Big sucks, Knuckles is fine, Tails is just a worse Sonic, and Gamma's also okay. I definitely think people glaze this game a little too much for what it's worth. It gave us a lot of staples in the franchise that would continue to be used going forward, but it's not really all that. Please don't kill me. And the game that was spoken of the most on both lists were Sonic Adventure 2. And I really don't know on whether I agree or disagree. I think Sonic Adventure 2 falls into the same pits that Sonic Adventure 1 falls into, and it's that the game is mostly praised for a very few select things. Everybody loves the speed stages, and everybody loves the music. Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the most iconic Sonic games for a reason, but at the same time, you don't hear a lot of people people talk about the things that aren't these iconic and classic celebrated moments from this game. Like the mech stages. Not a lot of people talk about those. Not a lot of people like those. The treasure hunting stages, while those levels are better and actually catered towards the characters themselves, overall it feels like a downgrade compared to SA1, considering that you can only track one emerald piece at a time. And then you got the speed stages, and like nobody has a problem with those. City Escape, Metal Harbor, Final Rush, all of these levels are so freaking good. Cityscape is up there as one of the most classic and iconic levels in gaming, period. And same thing with the finale of that game. God, it is so good, it gets me every time. There's a reason they put Live and Learn in Sonic 3, it's just that good. But I feel like if you're gonna glaze Adventure 2, glaze it for those specific things and not the entire game as a whole. Because I'll be honest, the game as a whole doesn't have a lot of great replay value. The speed stages have great replay value, but when you're playing through the entire game as a whole, it's not the best time. The only times when I find myself going through the treasure hunting or mech stages are on those said replays. So I think that goes to show that only about 1/3 of the game should be as celebrated as it is. There's a reason they didn't bring treasure hunting or mech stages back in future Sonic games, because people love the speed, and they only love the speed. You're gonna be very hard pressed to find any Sonic fan that loves the mech or treasure hunting stages. I've never heard someone go, yeah, the mech stages, oh my god, those are so good in Sonic Adventure 2. Is there one or two people out there? Yeah, probably. Is there somebody in the comments right now probably lying about it? Also, yeah. So I kind of agree that Sonic Adventure 2 is a very overrated game. I still like the game, I just don't replay it very much. And I do kind of think that it is the most overrated Sonic game in the history of, well, Sonic. If you didn't make it into the video, let me know your most overrated Sonic game down in the comments below. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and if we get there by June of 2026, I will review every Sonic movie. But otherwise, my name is Dylonic, and I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy, and stay fresh.